Good morning, everybody. My name is Lainey Clevenger White. I'm the practitioner on duty for our metaphysical lesson today. And Rev. Dr. Bev is going to talk about forgiveness. So I want to share with you some information about forgiveness. And I'm sure a lot of you already know about the health benefits, but I'd just like to reiterate them because it's important. Having forgiveness in your life is absolutely important. The number one benefit, or one of them, is it lowers your blood pressure. And I know if you ever get upset, you can imagine your blood pressure going up. So one is to lower your blood pressure. Number two is stress reduction. And that makes sense because when we're not recycling these thoughts consciously or subconsciously, then we're letting go of that stress and we're leaving that irritation behind. And then that leads right into number three, which is less hostility. By its very nature, forgiveness asks us to let go of hostility towards ourselves and others. And if we react spontaneously, not respond, but react, then that aggravates our stress level and our blood pressure. Number four is better management skills. So there are exercises you can do. Count to 10, take a deep breath, take another breath, count to 10 again, imagine something that you love and something that's peaceful. So there are tools you can use to let go of your anger and your hostilities, and then you will respond more frequently than react to what's going on. It lowers your heart rate. Just imagine that your heart is this beautiful organ and it's holding all this stressful stuff, and how that affects your heart and causes it to beat more. So it decreases if you are in forgiveness. And I'm sure some of us, when we're in this angry mode, we reach for the bottle or some kind of substance abuse. So this is a really big reason to practice forgiveness. That has a more positive outcome than drinking or doing drugs. Number 7 is there's fear of depression symptoms. When you're staying in that space of anger and hurt and chaos, it's negative energy and it leads to depression. So think about forgiveness, that it helps you to love yourself deeply and relieving us of any inner pain. Our bodies are energy. It's energy in form. So you can have less anxiety symptoms when you're letting go of that negative energy. And it reduces any physical pain, any chronic pain. Your body takes in any negative energy and then it affects you. And then when you are friendly and not angry, you're going to develop more friendships, because people enjoy being around you. So that's a good benefit of forgiveness. And then that creates healthier relationships. People enjoy being with you and you have healthy relationships. Another benefit is that you have a greater religious or spiritual well-being. When you're in forgiveness, it brings you closer to spirit and closer to the divine. When we ask God or talk to God for help and offer our forgiveness, our sadness, and our fear and pain up as a prayer, we receive peace and divine love in return. And this is true healing. And just take a second to think about it. If you can just take a breath and let go and give it to God. Let go and let God. And let the divine take care of it. You're feeling much better and being healed. And then the last one, there's improved psychological well-being. On all levels, we become more harmonious when we let go of our grievances. And that's really important. Now, Rev. Dr. Bev is going to talk about Fred Luskin, but I'd like to just reiterate the 9 steps that she will go over, that he has a process for forgiving for good. He wrote a book called Forgive for Good, Fred Luskin. So, number 1 is to know exactly how you feel about what happened and be able to talk about it. Number 2 is to make a commitment to yourself to do what you have to do to feel better. Forgiveness is on you and not for anybody else. And I know that sometimes that's hard to accept that, but it's about you feeling good for yourself. Number 3, forgiveness does not necessarily mean reconciliation with the person that hurt you or condoning their action. It's really, again, about you. Forgiveness can be defined as the peace and understanding that come from blaming that which has hurt you less, taking the experience less personally, and changing your grievance story. If you can detach yourself from the situation, then maybe you can see it differently. And then number 4, you get a right perspective on what is happening. Just kind of analyze the situation and see that it's coming from your hurt feelings and your thoughts and the physical upset. And it may have been something that happened just right now or something that was 10 years ago. But forgiveness can help heal those hurt feelings. And number 5, at the moment you feel upset, practice a simple stress management technique to soothe your body's fight or flight. Take a breath, count to 10. Think of something else that's better for you. Number 6, give up expecting things from other people. We get expecting how things are going to be, and then we're setting ourselves up to have hurt feelings. And that's nobody's issue but yours, really. Number 7 is to put your energy into looking for another way to get your positive goals. Shift your direction of, to get past what the situation was. Just shift your direction. Do something that pleases you, something that takes care of your body. Do some good self-care. Go for a walk. Be absolutely grateful. That's one of the best things to do, is just to be grateful for what you do have. And number 7 is remember that a life well lived is your best revenge. Learn to look for the love and the beauty and the kindness around you. Forgiveness is about personal power. You give your power away when you stay in anger and hurt and frustration. You're giving it to that situation. You're giving it to that person that may have been involved that you feel hurt you. You are responsible for your own feelings. So claim your power in that situation. And then number 9 is to amend your grievance story to remind you of the heroic choice to forgive. And it is a heroic choice to forgive. It's not easy to do. It takes practice, even if for a second you have to say, I forgive you. I love myself enough to let go of the situation. That's important. Now another practice is a Ho'oponopono prayer. It's the Hawaiian prayer for forgiveness by Dr. Len, and it's talked about in Zero book by Dr. Joe Vitale. There's 4 steps to it, and they're simple steps. They're simple, but they're powerful when you really look deeply into them and when you practice them. And the thing is, we talk about that we're all one together. We are. So when we're playing the game with somebody as well, when we're in a situation that causes these upset feelings. So there is nothing out there. It's all what you're experiencing in your mind. So you need to take responsibility for what your part is in this situation as well. So there's 4 steps. 1 is, I'm sorry. And you're saying, I'm sorry for the situation. I'm sorry for my part in being responsible. That is actually acknowledging the situation that happened. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this happened. It's not saying anybody is right or wrong. I'm just sorry for this negative energy that's going on. The second step is to ask forgiveness and say, please forgive me. The please forgive me step is not that you're necessarily saying, please forgive me from this person that you feel you've been wronged by. Please forgive myself. Please forgive me that I'm having these feelings, that I'm having this experience. I'm sorry I'm having this experience, and please forgive myself for doing this, for feeling this way. The third step is gratitude, to say thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. When we're in gratitude, everything shifts. Everything shifts. If you have to say, thank you for my breath, thank you for my heartbeat, thank you for my body in its perfect shape, thank you for my positive thoughts, thank you for this experience that gives me an opportunity to see things differently. Thank you. And the fourth step is, I love you. I love you. Say it to your body, say it to God, say it to for the air that you breathe, say it to the person that you're feeling challenged with. We are all this God, divine energy together. And we can say I love you to the divine spirit that we are and let go of the ego that we get caught up in. That's the part that gives us challenges in life, is the ego. So if we can say, I love you, looking at that third eye of that person, and for yourself, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, and I love you. So when we step into 0 point, which is what Dr. Joe Vitale talks about, is where we can dance with all of us in celebration. There's no guilt, there's only empowerment and understanding and miracles, and there's love. When we step into that place that is the divine, that's where we can lovingly let go of any discomfort, any unhappy feelings or situations. So that's another means of forgiveness. There's a book by Colin Tipping, Radical Forgiveness. It's an amazing book, and he has a process as well. I highly recommend reading his book. It's an interesting approach to it, and it is radical. That his process is that you tell the story. We have to acknowledge and admit what it is that we're dealing with and what's going on. So tell your story. And then you have to acknowledge and feel your feelings. We can't stuff this stuff inside of us. That's where we get pain. That's where we get disease. And we're not happy. So recognize your feelings and then not judge them. You're just entitled to your feelings, but have no judgment about them. And then you step into collapsing the story. And that's, everybody has their interpretation about a situation. Everybody does. So think about how you interpreted what someone said, what someone did, what the situation was, and look at it as your interpretation, how you participated and made up this event from your aspect. And a lot of that comes from what your core negative beliefs are, which is, I'll never be enough, it's not safe to be me, people abandon me. Those issues trigger our behaviors. And when we acknowledge them, we can let go of them. We can just breathe that out and, again, claim our own power. So then, and the part of collapsing the story is that you're reframing the situation. Now, this is the part that I think people might consider as radical. Colin believed that we all contract with each other to learn our lessons in life. So, you may partner up with somebody who you have turmoil with all the time, that causes you to drink or do drugs, or it's just an unhappy situation. Until you recognize that pattern, you're not going to change it. You're just going to keep repeating it. And that person, those people that play in your lives, that push your button, are there to help you see and redo and reframe what you're doing in your life. There's a saying that if you spot it, you've got it. Or when you point the finger at somebody, you've got 3 fingers and a thumb pointing back at you. So we're all in this story together, and it's sometimes, a lot of times, subconscious. But once we understand that, we can let go of any blame in a situation, to just know that that person, that situation was part of our co-creation in life so that we learn lessons in patience, lessons in understanding, lessons in clarity, lessons in love, lessons in abundance, all the human behaviors we get to play with in this lifetime. And so they're presented to us so that we can wake up and go, I choose to do that differently now. That's reframing your story. That's stepping out of being a victim and playing in that story. That's stepping into your own power. And part of doing that is forgiving and letting go of any situation in your life that causes you discomfort. And if we can just step into that space of love, and like I said, just see in that other person, look beyond in their third eye and just see that that's God, that's spirit, and that it is good. That's our true, pure essence, is that goodness and that love and that peace and that joy. That's what's there. But we stop it when we hang on to those old beliefs and hang on to those issues. So Colin Tipping's process is a really great process to use in your life. He has a website, and you can get worksheets to practice this thing. Not saying it's done overnight, but you got to start somewhere. And it's so much better if we can feel love and peace and understanding and compassion about situations in our lives. If we can enjoy the breath that we're breathing and see it being done in others. Because as we see others, if we see them in that positive light, then we also enhance that energy in the world. And so that is my lesson on forgiveness. I hope that you will research further with Kippan Talling, Fred Luskin, and Dr. Lan Joe Vitelli, and find a process that works for you. Thank you very much.